Starting this, if you have NVIDIA graphics card, just right click anywhere on your desktop where you go to make a new folder or display settings. You should see NVIDIA control panel. I will say start off by making sure that your drivers are up to date. That does help. It might start out there. Just go down to manage 3D settings. Go to program settings. You see Call of Duty Modern Warfare. And these are the settings that I found work best for me. I know everyone's different and has different preferences. This is my preference. Image sharpening on, off, FXAA off, gamma correction off, anti-aliasing off, CUDA's all, low latency I have set to ultra, max frame rate. I don't know why I set this to 1000. My computer can't run any game at 1000 FPS, but you know, it's going to be helpful. But if you have a frame cap that you want to set yours at, like 200 or wherever, just do that. Monitor technology. I mean, I just left this as G-Sync. I haven't really messed any with the ULMB. So, like I said, preference. You might try it out and see which works best. This works best for me. MFAA off. Open rendering. I chose my GPU. Let's see, power management. I set this to maximum performance. In other games such as Apex, I have set to optimal power. That's just my preferences. Apex runs a lot, I wouldn't say smoother, but it's easier to run. It's more, I don't know, it's just easier to run. Max, our preferred refresh rate, highest available, shader on, texture filtering off, allow, quality, high performance, texture filtering on, threaded optimization. You want this on any game. I have a AMD 3900x, so I get lots of threads, so I have that on. Triple buffering off, VSync off. I never want VSync on. VR pre-rendered frames I always set to 1. Yeah, just hit apply. I'll do a little flicker. Alright, exit that. Load up the game. We'll go from there. Alright, whenever you get loaded in, just go to options, go to graphics. I don't know why it does this, but every time I start Warzone or Call of Duty, it defaults to full screen borderless and 66 on my render resolution, but we'll go over that. First things first, you want to put in full screen. That way you can reach your refresh rate of 144. I have 165 hertz monitor. In NVIDIA control panel, I set it to 144. I really don't see a difference between 144 and 165. Next, you want to go to display resolution. Make sure it's selected at 1080. My monitor is a 1440p monitor, but I game FPS games at 1080p. Next, you want to put your render resolution to 100. If you're in game after you do all this and you still aren't quite at your target FPS range, I would slowly lower this to probably like 95, check, 90, and then like 85. I probably wouldn't go below 85, but that's just me. If your computer is able to run at 100, do that. Next, aspect ratio, I leave it automatic. VSync disabled. I do run a custom frame limit. I set mine at 200. At the menu, 120. You see right here, it's roughly 120. Out of focus frame limit at 200. NVIDIA highlights disabled. This does not render any, if you run a shadow play, it doesn't mess with any of that. Next, gamma. I'm on a monitor, so I'll run 2.2. Texture resolution. I normally keep this at normal, just because I know my computer can handle it and it visually looks better to me. But for FPS sake, put this at very low. Texture filtering, low. Particle quality, low. Bullet impact spray, I leave enabled because I like to see where my bullets go. Tessellation, I used to run this at near, but I really didn't see that much of a difference, so I disabled it. Next, shadow map resolution. The shadows are just garbage in this game. You really can't, like, hiring this doesn't do anything with being able to see people camping in a corner or anything like that, so I really wouldn't worry about that. I would put that at low. Spot shadows, I personally enable. Same thing with sun shadows. Right here, the spot shadows uses just a little bit of VRAM, not much. But to get the most FPS, yes, disable spot and sun shadows. Particle lighting, low. Ray tracing, I wouldn't even mess with that. That's just junk. Ambient occlusion, disable. SSR, disable. Now, anti-aliasing, I leave at 1x, but that's just because I like my edges to be a little bit smoother. If you're absolutely not at your target FPS, you can turn this off. I personally don't see a difference in FPS gains or losses, so like I said, I leave that at 1x. Depth of field disabled. Film strength, it says if you're not running T2X or anything like that, set it to 1. I really don't know what visual noise is, so I just do it to 0. World motion blur disabled. Basically, I don't want to be getting shot in the back and do a 180 and have all this blurriness going on. Same goes for weapon motion blur. Film grain, I set to 0. If anyone is curious, I run, apply. I run my field of view at 120. That's my preference. My brightness is at 60. Other than that, yeah, make sure that you apply, and let's jump into the game and see. Okay, so jumping in, I have around 175, 180. So around I'd say 130 to 160. But yeah, I'm seeing around like 110, 115. Maybe, yeah, I see some 130s in there. I'd say average is probably 120. Alright guys, yeah, that's the best FPS guide that I could come up with. Like I said, each of these small little tweaks have gotten me to, around a stable 140 to 180. So, again, If you like this video and this helped you in any way, please consider subscribing, and I will see y'all later. Peace.